It's very good to meet you, Ben. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for taking time to talk.
Oh, absolute pleasure, mate. You know what? There's a lot of things that I could praise about this movie of yours, but I think Ben and I would agree that the best thing about it is that it's 73 minutes long, and that puts it above most other movies of the year.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it turns out when you make a film that can't be driven by dialogue, even if you hit kind of the classic beats of a haunted house film, uh, taking the dialogue out, making it unfold from the perspective of a dog, really does impact the runtime. And I agree. I think that's the perfect place for this to sit.
Yeah, I think all movies should be 73 minutes. I think anything over that is just self-indulgence.
You got to earn every minute, right?
That's right. Keep it tight. Get the action
You know
happening.
what? And the other great thing about this movie, obviously, the lead star itself, like Good Boy doesn't even need to really be a horror movie because I could just watch indie regardless. Like absolutely gorgeous. Did you build this film intentionally around Indy himself, or did you intend to make the movie with another dog first?
No, so Indy is my own dog, and definitely didn't plan that originally he was going to be the star of the show. Um, I kind of came to it slowly as I was trying to figure out how the story would work, how you would even tell a story from a perspective that is 19 inches off the ground. How do you get a camera that close to a character who doesn't know he's in a movie? I was doing these tests with Indy, again, my own dog, just shooting in my apartment. Originally, just recreating scenes from The Shining, where instead of Danny, wandering up to room 237, it's Indy investigating an open door. And that kept growing as I was writing the script. I was learning how to work with Indy, what was possible from a dog performance, or at least my own dog's performance. Uh, Flash forward a bit, one of those short films I made got nominated for he was nominated for an acting award, and that kind of sealed the deal. He was the lead from then on.
Were you concerned when you named your dog Indy that you were going to have a child that went into the archaeology field instead of?
Geez, I've honestly, that's the first time anyone's asked me that, and it's the first time I've ever considered it. Look, I think it's a good outcome.
I mean, think of the adventures that that child would have.
Exactly. And now he's got a ghost seeing dog.
Yeah,
That's how else could you make Indiana Jones better?
yeah, that's right.
His dog can see ghosts.
There actually are awards for dogs too. I think there's the Porskas,
The Oscars, I haven't heard that. That's amazing.
or maybe that
I
was Once
Tom
Upon a
Dog.
Time and may have been Once Upon a Time an award, and I think there's the Patsies. So I think Indy's got a bright award future ahead of him.
I
Um,
hope so. I hope so.
yeah. So talk about just coaxing a performance out of Indy, and do you think by the end of it, Indy was somewhat aware of what was going on?
Uh, no, I don't think he knows he was in a movie, but I will say he does know what the camera is now, or at least he knows what my camera is. It got to the point where he did understand that the camera, it coming out, meant he was supposed to do something. The same way that when some dogs see a leash or a tennis ball, they know, oh, something's about to start. It's not as one to one as with a tennis ball or a leash, but Indy understood that the camera's presence meant he's supposed to do something. It even got to the point that when we were filming his point of view shots, where he's not in them, he would try and wander into the room to like be there because he thought he was needed, and we would have to like close the door and be like, "Not yet, just a minute, boy." And bring him in just for the times he's of course on camera, which is most of the time. But the first part of your question about how do you coax a performance out of him, the truth is you learn to make a movie around him. I think my favorite parts of his performance, put those in the biggest air quotes possible, because I cannot stress enough, I don't think he knows he's in a movie. It's the moments that feel genuine because he's my dog and I stand in as the human talent. So the way I get out of bed in the morning, every day, and he goes through my legs and we like have pets and belly rubs. We capture that in the movie several times as kind of a, indicator of the relationship. And those moments look real and genuine and affectionate because they are. That's Indy. He's my dog. The love is real. So there's things like that. We also filmed in the house we were living in. So that is another way of saying my wife, who's the producer of the film, is a really good sport for letting me transform the house into a haunted house. Um, so, Indy behaves and acts naturally, which I think helps sell his performance and make it feel authentic. And then finally, so much of I think what reads is his performance is just the fact that as a dog, he's so easy to relate to, and his eyes are so expressive that the filmmaking can make you think he's performing when in fact he's just looking off camera. There's several times throughout the film that he'll wander into a room, hear something or notice something, and we get a close up of him looking off camera, where in reality I'm going blah, 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 try and get his attention. And there's scary music, and there's a point of view shot that shows a dark corner with a shadow moving. And, the movie math the audience does says that's scary, therefore the dog must be scared. He's not, he's neutral, and you're projecting emotions onto him, which is kind of a cool lesson in how acting can work sometimes.
100%. And also, like, from a technical point of view, like, that's really impressive. And I'm wondering, with continuity, how you manage to achieve such fluid and smooth continuity when, like, you've got the same moment captured from two different angles, clearly filmed at different times. Like, was the editing process a real challenge?
Yeah, so the editing process was happening as the film was being shot. And thank you for saying that it looks seamless. There are certainly some scenes where the shot, reverse shot, looking one way, looking the other, and then maybe a profile of Indy. There might be weeks, months, or years in between those setups. We filmed for over 3 years, for over 400 days. That was not obviously the goal to shoot things that scattered, but it meant because Indy can't hit exact marks, you can just tell an actor, walk in, stand on this piece of tape, and look at the window. With Indy, it's quite a bit of an X factor of where he's going to land when he comes into a room. So, a standard way to approach a scene would be to start with kind of your widest angle of coverage. You get the action as best you can, and then you actually have to review the footage and pick the take you're going to use for now and forever, because then you adjust all the blocking for that move, and you do further adjustments based on the next shot. So, it's not like the film was edited in camera, which is an old exercise from like VHS and like 8mm days, but it was a little bit like that. It was certainly shot digitally, but there's kind of a lot of analog film practices that were like essential for making the film actually work.
Was Indy upset that he had to keep the same haircut for 3 years?
No, no, hair and makeup was incredibly easy. I mean, I'll also say it's man, to age like a dog. I mean, we shot for 3 years and he doesn't appear to age.
It didn't age
The
out,
most
which is great.
extensive hair and makeup we had to do was there's a moment which always gets a good gasp from the audience of when he disappears and when he shows back up, he's covered in mud, and it's people always go, "Oh," and if you think about that for just a little bit, you can imagine, is it that hard to get a dog to roll around in mud? Um, and for Indy, the answer is surely no.
3 years. I mean, that's a long time to be living in a film set. Like, did that put you guys out? Like, was it a difficult environment to live in?
I mean, so it was 3 years, and part of the reason is that so the days were very, very short, and you could only film, an hour or two a day. I think the max he would ever go is like 3 hours, and that would be like an extraordinary, things are going
Those
perfectly.
those damn dog unions that stop
Yes, right.
from just
Yes.
shooting reasonable hours.
It's really it's dog attention span. Once it's gone, there's no amount of money that can bring it back. It's like trying to get a really little kid to do something. There's a certain point they turn into a pumpkin, and that's the end of the shooting day. Um, but yeah, so it was just the three of us living there. So I did both the directing, I co-wrote the film. I also was the cinematographer, the editor, carpenter, electrician. My wife, who is a scientist, not a filmmaker before this film, which is good because that's another way of saying she's very smart. Produced the film and then also operated camera sometime, frequently played, she and I both played the human characters. Sometimes she played Todd, which if you look very closely, you'll notice that Todd's pants don't always fit exactly right. Uh, so it was really fun. It felt kind of like a hobby. Like some people restore like classic cars in their driveway. It feels a little bit like that, except a little more odd, a little more specific. And we chipped away at it just over the a period of time.
Just incredible. Were there any other movies that just influenced just the style and the look of the film?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Poltergeist just probably when I saw it is something I'm always going back to. I mean, it's also in some ways the origin story of this project because if you remember, Poltergeist begins with the golden retriever wandering through the house, clearly clued into the haunting before the humans have caught on. That just is kind of like, the dog in a haunted house was like as a trope was super influential. And I was always looking at movies that had dog actors in them or were focused on dogs to try and kind of suss out how did they get the performance that they got. The one that I always think about and am still in awe of is The Thing. The dog in The Thing who enters the story as, of course, he's spoilers for The Thing. He's not a dog, and in fact, he is an alien. With no lines of dialogue and no explanation, the audience understands that this dog is wandering around the outpost, casing the joint, and like doing subterfuge, which is just like remarkable. And it's all, I mean, John Carpenter's an amazing director, and you're using the same kind of things that we'd like to then use in Good Boy, just a combination of point of view, objectivity, and then subjectivity to kind of create a performance around an animal that doesn't know he's in a movie.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's an amazing feat, really.
Yeah, that's right.
Amazing.
Amazing or very strange, however you want to look at it.
Everything about this one is unique. Like it's just such a just to get our minds around it and ask you questions. It's different to the usual tact we take, which is really exciting. Is it a one and done for you guys? Do you plan to make another movie together?
I don't know if I'll make another movie. I will. I'll say this: my next film will have human actors in it. I'm very committed to that. I'm really looking forward to just everyone on set agreeing with the reality of the premise that we are indeed making a movie. So I think one of the things I've taken from this that I'm really excited to keep exploring is how perspective can be used to tell a story, not necessarily in just a different kind of character, but literally how can the camera's position and the point of view unravel a story in a interesting way. Certainly in Good Boy, figuring out how to write a story that can unfold through a dog's point of view is a challenge, but those challenges are also what makes the movie good. It's kind of like if a very difficult part of making the movie is also its best feature, it's kind of worth it continuing to explore that. So I'm definitely excited to keep doing that in the future. And
I wonder how those human actors will respond to.
oh, probably. Well, look, it's interesting because so I teach filmmaking when I'm not making movies, and in directing classes, I usually explain that directing actors is it's having a conversation about like let's all get on the same page, and then when you're on the day, directing can kind of come down to, okay, again, faster, slower, bigger, smaller. You can use those little words to kind of make adjustments as long as everyone's on the same page. You can't do any of that with a dog. You can't even tell them faster, smaller, bigger, slower. You just have to trick them into thinking that. So I look forward not having to play psychological mind games to get an actor to perform. That is definitely not my style.
But how cool would it be if you've got Indy as like the new Hitchcock, just making cameos in all the beginnings of all your films? Yeah,
we have a similar thought.
Yes, amazing. Looking forward to it. Look, that's about all the time we have today. I'm sure we could chat with you for a lot longer. It's fantastic to meet you. We love the film. We love Indy. Yeah, congratulations and good luck with everything else.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I just gotta say, I love your backgrounds. Ben, is that Society behind you on one of your?
it certainly is. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, such a fan. Not enough people talk about Society.
Well, you should jump into our archives. We've got a good 90-minute interview with Brian Usner, and he sings songs about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-stop
I can't
shunting
wait
to it.
I absolutely will check that out. Thank you so much.